branché Connexion Plus. Connexion Plus, c'est moi-même, c'est vous-même, c'est lui-même, c'est nous tous.
Ou même qui c'est ouvrier CEA ou qui aspire à faire ministère dans l'église locale, moi j'ai bon jan nouvelle pour. MISED, Mathetes Institute School of Evangelism and Discipleship, a offrir une série de diplômes spécialisés dans discipline tankou, leadership l'église, éducation chrétienne, évangélisation, apologétique chrétienne, interpréter la Bible, counseling familial, présentation études bibliques, Ancien et Nouveau Testament, nan souci pour bien équiper ouvriers cap fait ministère ou qui voulait faire ministère l'église à qui on dynamique sans pareil. Dans MISED, nous fait l'école yon l'autre gens et nous croyons tout le monde ka apprendre et tout le monde doit bien apprendre pour faire ministère CEA avancer. N'a invité tout chrétien haïtien tout côté sous la terre. Vin étudier Bibla dans bon timamite avec une équipe professeur qui non seulement gagne en maîtrise pour pipiti, mais qui chargé avec expérience dans affaires enseignement. C'est un programme hybride qu'a fait en direct une fois par semaine sur une plateforme tant que Zoom, Team, Google Meet et puis tout chaque étudiant a bien un tableau de bord pour le bambiler et faire devoir quiz avec examen. C'est là tout, il y a bien accès à tout document et ressources pour tout couillot. En plus, document principal chaque grain coup. Kounuyo a fait en créole et en français et très bientôt en anglais pendant 12 grains de mois seulement. Qui pi bel cadeau qu'a offert tout avec ministère bon Dieu que préparer pour servir royaume Christ là avec excellence et avec passion. Pour inscrire dans MISED et joindre plus de détails et informations, seulement tapez mathetesinstitute.com. Yundilot, MISED, une école pour étudier la Bible avec excellence et passion. Nouvelle session.
Moi, c'est Jean-Enoch Bruni, pasteur de la première église de Dieu de West Palm Beach, First Haitian Church of God of West Palm Beach. L'aime la caille moi chaque jeudi et chaque vendredi, commencer 8h pour 9h dans la soirée, c'est Connexion Plus, moi branché. Moi, recommandé fortement pour capable brancher tout Connexion Plus avec pasteur Benjamin chaque jeudi et chaque vendredi, sorti 8h pour arriver 9h. Que bon Dieu bénisse.
Yon nan pi gros cadeau yon moun ka bay tête li, c'est l'el prend service nan meyon professionnel là. Dans ce sens ça, si ou nan Florida ou bien dans quel que soit l'autre état yo, m'a préféré un Stallone Anilis qui nan tête Stallone Multi Services qui gen plus passé 10 l'année depuis la bay communauté à service avec un pile courtoisie. Quel que soit service ou besoin dans affaires immigration tant que résidence, tant TPS, asile, citizenship, carte travail la trier, c'est sans problème. Ou besoin de traduire un document dans quel que soit langue nan, notarier en papier, appliqué pour food stamp avec un pile l'autre service encore, relais Stallone dans 561 971 95 79. Stallone Multi Services en Chita dans deux adresses 5700 Lequef Road, suite 310-3, Green Acres, Florida 33463. Deuxième location c'est dans 500 South Australian Avenue, suite 524 à West Palm Beach, Florida 33401 dans Downtown West Palm Beach. Relais pour un rendez-vous dans 561 971 95 79 ou bien visitez website à Business Plan pour plus d'informations sur www.talonmservices.com.
Moi-même Césaire, depuis jeudi, vendredi 8h arrivé, je vais faire l'autre bagaille qui garder Connexion Plus. C'est chita pour me garder pasteur Benjamin. Connexion Plus.
Êtes-vous un propriétaire d'entreprise qui fait partie de notre communauté haïtienne dynamique en Floride et dans les Caraïbes? Si tel est le cas, vous avez probablement remarqué à quel point la vidéo devient importante en matière de marketing, de vente et de capture de souvenirs. En fait, l'utilisation de la vidéo est récemment devenue une attente des clients dans le monde entier. Et que vous le sachiez ou non, vous avez une histoire inspirante mais non contée. Votre point de vue unique sur le travail, la vie et tout le reste. Mais avec tout le monde qui crée du contenu en ligne maintenant, il est presque impossible de se démarquer. C'est pourquoi vous avez besoin de Lens Magic de Cajou TV, des services de production vidéo auxquels vous pouvez faire confiance. Des courts et longs films, des émissions de télévision aux événements en direct, au contenu des médias sociaux, aux occasions spéciales, quels que soient vos besoins vidéo, aucun projet n'est trop grand ou petit. LensMagic utilise uniquement les dernières technologies et équipements pour ravir nos clients à chaque fois. Notre excellente réputation au sein de la communauté est basée sur d'innombrables projets réussis, réalisés au cours des 20 dernières années dans toute la Floride, Haïti et les Caraïbes. Et en plus, nos forfaits flexibles garantissent aux clients la meilleure qualité à des prix abordables. Alors qu'est-ce que vous attendez? Visitez kajoutv.tv et découvrez comment vous pouvez utiliser la vidéo pour mieux raconter vos histoires.
Non, moi, c'est Nicole Alexis. Moi, sorti de New York. Chaque jeudi, chaque vendredi à 8h, 9h, moi branché Connexion Plus. Connexion Plus, c'est moi-même, c'est vous-même, c'est lui-même, c'est nous tous.
Bonsoir, je suis pasteur Raymond Benjamin qui vous souhaite la plus cordiale bienvenue sur Connexion Plus. Merci de votre fidélité, merci d'avoir connecté. Nous gagnons un sujet à Soya qui est très important, c'est l'importance leader communauté au gagné, importance leader dans la communauté. Mais pas seul, nous gagnons avec un bon, en pile monde là, nous allons introduire comme ça, un très bel sujet. Nous avons un peu d'élection. On va parler de l'élection à Soya. Good evening. I'm Pastor Raymond Benjamin. Welcome to Connexion Plus. Thank you for being here. We are in election period. We are in election mode. The topic for tonight is the importance of community leadership. The importance of community leadership. Most of the time, we focus on presidential elections instead of focusing on local leaders. Both are important. However, the local leaders are your immediate defender. They represent you. They stand for you and they defend you. They are your eyes, your voice. They defend your best interests. This is the reason why we have live in Connexion Plus Miss DEBRA TENDRICH. She is running for House Representative. She is a caring person. She is a really respectful and professional and care. This is the reason why we are to introduce you the co-host for tonight, Mr. Vladimir CELUNICE. He is the one who will introduce you, Miss DEBRA. She is running for our representative. Thank you, Mr. Vladimir. Thank you for being here, and welcome to Connexion Plus.
Anytime. Good evening, Connexion Plus family. Vladimir, your assistant state attorney. I'm happy to be here. I'm honored that Pastor has me here and that he chose me to ask these questions to Miss Tendrich. I'm happy to introduce Miss Tendrich as well.
And also we have Miss Michaela Lois.
Yeah.
She is with Miss DEBRA. 22 years old. She has what?
I'm getting my doctorate.
Doctorate degree.
She's
22 years old. She has
That's
already her doctorate degree. Congratulations.
She's
in the process.
She's in the process.
Yeah.
She's a doctorate. All right. Welcome, Ms.
Thank you.
Nicola.
Well, we're very honored to have you both here. Ms. Tendrich, I was doing my research. I was checking up on your background and checking up on your journey and how you got here. I'm fascinated by everything that you're a part of, everything that you've accomplished to get here. Michaela being here is almost a byproduct of what you've been involved in. Michaela and her accomplishments, I think they highlight some of the things that you stand for and some of the things that you're trying to promote in this community. So it's awesome to see you here and to see what you've accomplished as well. I am gonna just dive into this thing. That's the best way to kind of
let's
break
go.
the ice. So as far as personal background, I haven't really talked about any of it. I want you to do that. There's a lot, but I want you to highlight some of the accomplishments that are near and dear to you. So the question to kind of prompt that response is, can you share a bit about your personal and professional background and what led you to run for Florida District House 89?
Sure. So I am DEBRA TENDRICH, and I am your candidate for the Florida House of Representatives. So just also so people know where my district is, I will be representing Green Acres, Lake Worth, Lake Clark Shores, Palm Springs, Atlantis, West Palm, up to Southern Boulevard, and a little bit of Lantana. So that's Central Palm Beach County. But what I do in the county, in that district, those are just people who could vote for me. But everything I do will affect everyone in the entire state of Florida. So why I'm running, I'll take it back. I actually am a mom. So my daughter's in the public education system. So public education is extremely important. And I have a daughter that I really want to fix the future and be a part of that conversation so I can create a really good opportunity for when she is graduating. And I'll be a little bit selfish. I do want her to stay in Palm Beach County, but I want her to be able to afford to get her own place. And the cost of living right now, it's really not attainable. I rescued about 5 pets, so I have 3 cats and 2 dogs as well. And 2000, but I'll tell you, in 2013, I actually lost 70 pounds. And I reversed my daughter's medical conditions with food. And, I realized at that moment that food can make you healthy or food can make you sick. And when you don't have access to food and you have that barrier, a lot of times people without access to food also lack other resources like healthcare, the same access to education and opportunities. And so when I looked at my own situation, I actually developed a curriculum that taught kids how to eat healthy. We've worked with over 12,000 kids through my program. It's called Eat Better, Live Better. And then when COVID happened and schools were closed and I couldn't work with the children, I actually developed a healthy grocery assistance program. And so we've actually given out over 3 million pounds of groceries since COVID. We've fed over 200,000 people. Wow. We also help with social services. So imagine somebody sleeping on the floor and they need a mattress, or if they're leaving a domestic violence situation with their kids and they need to be rehoused or get furniture for their home. If someone is in a mental health crisis and they and their medications were stolen or they can't afford their medications. I mean, right now we have seniors that are rationing their medications because healthcare and the cost of prescriptions are so high. So instead of taking their pills every day, they're taking it every other day or every third day. We have children who are not able to go to school because they can't afford laundry detergent. And so, personally, the reason I'm running is, one, the community asked me to. But the second reason is I see how policies from Tallahassee trickle down and affect people every single day. And really, there's not anyone in Tallahassee that like someone told me the other day, you're a leader and a soldier. You can, lead the charge, but you don't just stay up there. You go down in the trenches, you roll up your sleeves, and you do the fight too. And so I think that's really what people are looking for, because not only am I going to be the partner on the ground to get the work done, but I'll be your policy partner. I see what I could put human faces on these issues, and I'll do the work, and I'll show up after the election.
So that's awesome. That kind of shows that you're a part of the community. You don't mind advocating for us and fighting for us, but you also don't mind doing the dirty work, getting your hands dirty, and you being that you are able and willing to do those kind of things. You actually see what the community is actually dealing with. So that's important for someone who's going to be representing us. My next question, and I think you kind of touched on it already, is what inspired you to enter politics, and if you haven't ran already, why now?
So I actually did run for a city seat back in 2019, 2020, and That wasn't the right seat for me. Not the right time, it wasn't the right seat. And no, not the right time either. That was really on the onset of COVID. And, I was needed more to create this program. So me losing the election was actually a blessing. Yeah. And like you were saying, the timing is right. So I had the practice in running, but I stayed on the ground and to do what I was meant to do. My purpose was to build a program to make sure people were fed. During that time, instead of focusing on the election, I delivered meals every single day, Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, and up to 100 families a day. I would rain, shine, didn't matter, for 10 weeks straight. So I did not take a break during COVID until I ended up getting an actual full program created, and we started feeding families with actual groceries, not just meals. And the truth of the matter is, I think at that moment, that's where I was needed the most.
Okay. That's awesome, and to me, just hearing that kind of explains why you're the people's choice. This isn't something that you've gone after, and I'm a strong believer that people choose their leaders. You can't just spring up and say, I'm a leader. You're usually chosen to be a leader. And based off what you just said, it makes sense why people have chosen you to be their leader.
Thank you.
My next question is, what's been the most rewarding experience thus far in this journey towards running?
I mean, look, she's sitting next to me. I mean, the truth of the matter is, being able to inspire the next round of leadership is really important to me. I think that people have not done the best job creating a bench of future leaders. We need to not only lead, but we need to be able to create the opportunity to pass a torch and to mentor, bringing people up with us. And I always tell people, you're given two hands for a reason, one to help yourself and one to help somebody else. And so, lighting somebody else's light doesn't dim yours, it just makes the room brighter. And so I'm really hoping that I can kind of like throw that rock in the water and create that ripple effect and bring more young people involved in the process. And the issues I see is everything that's happening now affects the young people. There's policies affecting their education, not just in elementary and middle and high, but in their college education too. Whether they're going to be able to have start their own business, whether they're going to be able to, if they hurt their shoulder and need if they can even afford a shoulder surgery. Like, these things matter, and to understand that everything you do is politics.
Absolutely.
The clean air, clean water, the roads you drive in, the hospitals, the health, everything you do, eat, sleep, and breathe is politics. And making it a more comfortable conversation with people in a safe space where you're not asking what party are you, but just how can I help you, is really what politics should be about.
Okay. I'm going to in Creole for my people. I mean, summarize a little bit.
Okay.
And nous gagnons ensemble avec nous à Soya, Miss DEBRA TENDRICH, la one for pour House représentative. C'est eux-mêmes qui c'est yeux nous, c'est voix nous. C'est eux-mêmes qui parlent gourmet pour moi ensemble avec vous, qui fait passer loi dans le Congrès. Il pas juste paraître, mais il construit une communauté. Il fait pendant COVID-19 là, il crée une organisation pour manger. Il pas seulement garder problème, il involve dans le problème, il engagé dans le problème. Il ba moun manger. Il veut en pile moun en pile haïtien manger. Là côté moun k'ap dormi à terre pour lui prendre soin pour ba au matelas, pour aider. Il veut manger même en Haïti. Donc si on leader comme ça au besoin, son monde qui a besoin aider l'autre monde à l'autre niveau. Seulement encourager haïtien mieux. K'ap garder là dans tout côté, dans Greenacres, dans l'Equif, dans l'Entana, pas oublier voter et Miss DEBRA TENDRICH et 89, pas oublier notre numéro ça. 89 de pour paraître font croix sur lui, il pas progrès parce que il fait pour aider dans la communauté en tant que un bon leader. Un leader pas mon qui prend avantage mais son qui baille tête li. qui aide les gens qui sont dans la situation. Merci à Ms. Debra. Thank you, Ms. Debra.
Thank you. And I also wanted to just say another thing that I'm very proud of is when you're knocking on doors and you're meeting the folks who live in the district, you know, since I have my organization, I know the resources. District 89 is a very much working class district, right? So constituent services is something that is really, really important for everyone who lives in the district. So I've actually been able to help. I remember there was this woman, she was 9 months pregnant, and I said, oh my God, congratulations. She was like, I'm scared to have the baby. And I asked her why. She says, I cannot afford to take 1 day off work.
Oh.
So I was able to set up with resources to make sure that she was able to have that baby in peace and not worry about it. And so I also helped her get into free English classes because she spoke English perfectly, but when she came here when she was 17, she went straight to work. She learned how to speak English perfectly, but not read and write it. So that barrier stopped her from getting a job, so I got her into free English classes so she could learn to read and write it. And I helped her 3-year-old get into Head Start and helped her be able to get diapers so she wouldn't have to worry about it. So being able to also navigate the system and be able to help people where they are to be in a more comfortable position and set them up for success long term is also something that I'm really, really excited about. Like, for instance, Lake Worth Middle School is in our district. Well, they have the highest homeless population in the county. They have about 90 homeless students. Many of those students don't show up to school because they don't have clean clothes, because they don't have washer and dryers, they don't have laundry detergent. And so what happens is when you have clean clothes being a barrier for education, we had to create a solution. So I'm one of the founding members of the Student Life Alliance, which is an organization that actually focuses on supporting homeless students. Homeless students in the county, they're counted as McKinney-Vento students. And you know, when you're looking at that, you want to make those students whole again. So I was able to secure, with my partnership with the Student Life Alliance, a washer and a dryer for the school. So now the students can bring their dirty clothes to school and go home with clean ones and not worry about missing school over laundry detergent. And so like these things, instead of taking someone's issues and putting it on a shelf to collect dust, it's so much easier just to knock that little thing out. Because even though it's not the job of a state rep, how is that not just the job of somebody who wants to support the community? That should be your responsibility. So that's stuff I'm proud of.
Yeah. Alors, ça, pour me faire là, les ba un exemple. Yon dame qui était enceinte pendant 9 mois, et il est 9e mois, il a rencontré, il a rencontré. Il dit que congratulations parce que vous avez un bébé, il dit non. Pas envie un bébé ça. Vous comprenez pour ça? Parce que il dit qu'il faut le travail 7 jours sur 7. Or, un monde qui parle d'un bébé qui a une inquiétude quand on parle de petit monde ça, parce que toute ville dans le travail, Ms. Debra te prend, li aider là. Et li aider madame ça, et je dis à madame là, li apprend soin tête li. Number 1, number 2. Numéro 2. Dans l'école middle school. How many percent?
It's the highest homeless population in the county.
Okay.
About 90 students.
90 students. 90% de moun sa yo sont population qui très grande. Mais en pile là sorti dans monde qui pas gen dans homeless. Il pas gen rat pour mettre. Ou ka imagine ou avec aux États-Unis. Si on a gen rat pour mettre pour venir l'école. Ms. Debra prend yo, écrit un programme pour yo pour ba yo rad pour venir l'école, mais le radio sale qui doit pour laver radio. Mais type de monde n'a voté. Mais monde que nous besoin voter, on qui cœur qui connaît avec monde, avec besoin peuple, avec besoin communauté. D'ailleurs, Ms. Debra pas haïtienne, mais li aide tout le monde, côté haïtien, côté spanish, côté américain. She's helped everybody. Haitian, Spanish, American, wherever you are, she helps you out.
Thank you.
And just talking to you and hearing some of the things that you've done for the community, you can tell you have a heart for the community. Not everybody is doing those kind of things. Not everybody even knows those issues exist. For you to even know that kind of issue exists tells that you're connected to the community. And I commend you for starting a program like that.
Thank you.
I know myself, like being in high school, I can't say that I have had those issues. If my clothes were dirty, they were my own fault. I didn't put them where they needed to be, so my could wash them. So it's heartbreaking that there are kids even now that are dealing with these kinds of situations, and education is free. It's here for everyone, and it's heartbreaking that they miss out on that opportunity just because they don't have clean clothes.
And that's not the only reason why they miss out on the best education. I mean, if they're sleeping in their car, you know, they're not getting good night's sleep. There's light shining in their cars. People are knocking on their windows. It's not safe. You know, you're not getting a full night's sleep. I mean, there's tons of reasons why kids don't show up to school, and it's not always because they don't want to. And I think that just understanding those issues is extremely important, because if you don't realize it, like for instance, right now, they're trying, a lot of people are trying to attack the public schools, when right now they kind of need a little bit extra support right now, because not only are the kids sleeping, but there's teachers that are going from their cars to their classroom. And so if the teachers are working 2 jobs or 3 jobs or not able to get a full night's sleep themselves, they're still not able to show up the best for their students. So there's a lot of other issues along with the public schools that they just need support. And my daughter's in public school. I'm fully invested. And the Classroom Teachers Association endorsed me because they know I'm going to take care of the babies, and I'll do a good job for them.
This question here kind of is asking you to educate our viewers. What are some of the things that you can do? Like, what are some of your powers as a House rep? What's your capacity as a House rep?
Sure. So what I'm able to do in official capacity is we have 3 main roles. 1, we balance the state's budget.
Okay.
2, we create laws that affect the entire state of Florida. And 3 is we actually fight for funds to fulfill the needs of the district. Now, right now, we're in something called a supermajority, which as a Democrat, we have a very small amount of people representing Democrats versus Republicans, which have a supermajority right now. So it would be very hard for me independently right now, the way it is, to pass a lot of bills. But what we haven't done, which I haven't seen done effectively, is get the power and amplify my voice with the communities. And so that's why a community organizer is so important, because if something is going to affect you, I need to be able to call you and have you write a letter, make a phone call to the opposition to say, we're going to vote and we're going to vote you out if you don't help pass this bill, because what you're doing is going to hurt me and my community. And I think that we're missing that step, because I'll give you an example. They were going to build on the ag reserve land. The GL Homes were about to build multi-million dollars on the ag reserve land. The county commission ultimately approved it, and then the community came together. I helped talk at rallies, I helped get support, and we were able to reverse that and protect the ag reserve land, because ultimately if you chip away at that land, it's like opening up Pandora's box and everyone wants to do it. Oh, it's only 700 acres, but then it's another 700. And ag reserve land is protected for a reason. So if I see on a micro level, even with the Jonathan Dickerson Park, when they were trying to build pickleball courts on these parks and these resorts, I went there, I spoke at the rallies, we organized, and they delayed it. Because the community took their voice where it was important, showed up, and they said that we're not going to go for this. These are bipartisan issues. These are everybody's issues. Republicans, Democrats, and independents, even people who don't vote, all enjoy state parks, and we all deserve to have that same park there when our kids are our age or they have kids. And so if we take that same concept to anything that affects the community, and we mobilize and we can get leadership that can bring the community to be a part of that conversation and get engaged like that, we can do so much more. And so it's really also organizing not just my actual roles, but behind the scenes, being able to organize and amplify my voice with the community's needs.
That's from what I get is you're infusing your platform with the voice of the community, and that's what the amplification is, power in numbers.
100%. 100%.
What are the top 3 issues that you're focusing on in your campaign, and why are these issues important to District 89?
Sure. So most of our families send their kids to public schools, right? So public education is a top priority. And I always tell people, you cannot outfeed poverty, you cannot outprison crime, but you can out-educate it. Education is our biggest equalizer. And, you know, so ensuring that our public schools are supported, our teachers have pay. We also have a huge Hispanic and Asian population in my district where we need more duolingual and multilingual educators and administration at the different schools, so the parents can also be supported in making sure that their kids have the best outcomes. So education, also extending education to more pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs is something that's extremely important. So continuing on, and then also making sure that our colleges are also supported. There's been a lot of legislation that has been coming down and attacking our schools on every level of education. So really combating that and trying to reverse the damages and make sure that we can support our educators. They're leaving, and we really need some good ones. So our kids deserve that. That's one. The housing crisis and the affordability is extremely important as well. You know, one of the things that I want to do is make sure that we, you know, expand and fund these down payment assistance for both housing when you're renting or purchasing a home, you know, creating more economic opportunities so people have the ability to purchase. I mean, right now, there's a lot of people who had funds saved up, you know, especially these young families who had money saved up, but their rent and their bills went up so high. And when they went up so high, they actually used up their savings. And when they used up their savings, now they don't have the down payment, or they don't have enough money to purchase their home. Let alone, there's so many investors coming in and purchasing homes cash and taking the opportunities away from these people from buying homes with mortgages. So also healthcare. One of the medical crisis is one of the biggest reasons people go into debt and lose their homes. One of the reasons I say that is because we have, for instance, through my doors and my nonprofit, I have families that are going through cancer, but their jobs don't provide sick pay. So now they're not able to work, and they're sick, and they're worried about where their meal is coming from and losing their homes. So making sure that people have access to health care, expansion of Medicaid is very important. But also, back to the housing, we have a lot of, what I've seen lately is the biggest population coming through our doors are the senior citizens. They're on a fixed income, and especially the ones who live in condos. The condos fees and reserves are going up so much where sometimes, like, we have the seniors on a fixed income. Some of them make $750 a month, some $1,700. But regardless, when your bills are set and you've worked your whole life and you're stuck on this fixed income, and then your bills go up and they double, you're now outspending your income. And a lot of these seniors, they're stuck. We have an 87-year-old woman with dementia that is looking for a job right now. And when you force people at that age, first of all, nobody's hiring 80-year-olds anyways, right? So nobody is actively hiring, and she has been looking for a long time. And so the most that we can do is find alternatives to these situations. And our current administration really hasn't supported those needs right now. In fact, they regulated people out of their homes with the current administration. So without thinking about what the effect would be on seniors that are on fixed incomes.
Well, bagay yon pile. Bagay yon pile. On a préparé nous pour un break, pour nous prendre un petit souffle. Mais ma faut connaître que Miss DEBRA TENDRICH déjà fait un paquet de bagailles avec organisation que le gagne dans la communauté ça. Et pas oublier, il y a un congressman women, des représentants dans state level, des représentants dans federal level. So c'est eux même qui prend besoin ou soit traverser pour le piro na pour. Premièrement limiter en phase sur l'école publique yo. Côté le pas remet genre fonctionner. et bien face au professeur, face au père, on peut imaginer que c'est un professeur qui a formé monde pour demain et puis ou puis mal touché dans tout le monde ça. Donc Miss Debra met en phase sur ça, les mettait en pour dire que il parle défendre Bill ça, l'elfin élu, l'a élu, il c'est déjà un congressman. I claim that you are already congresswoman. Of course. Il parle quand pour défendre pour que professeur ou teacher yo capable gagner un plus bon vie, capable payer plus bien. Deuxième il met en phase, gros problème crise caille. Et vous avez remarqué que nous avons plus homeless dans la communauté. Ça cause un problème parce que le prix caillou a grimpé, a monté chaque jour. Donc, il y a un exemple concret en madame qui a 77 ans. Madame ça, il n'a pas travaillé encore. Il a bien choix. Mais caillou continue à monter. Il n'y a pas comme ça pour le payer. Le ministre de la prend responsabilité pour aider madame ça. Or, c'est eux-mêmes en tant que congresswoman, à présenter nous devant le congrès pour défendre bagay ça pour caillou capabilité suspend monter et ou même temps acheter un caillou pour en trop pour comme ça qui passé investisseur passé article dans main ou même qui boy dans la rue. Or faut gagner des personnes qui responsables qui parlent camper pour dire non si nous pas capable aider middle class là et une moyen capable boost économie dans le pays ça lorsque tu dis middle class là ou pour mettre des cob dans mel et bien gain cob dans pays n'a propos dans Attoney tout à l'heure.
Non moi c'est Nicole Alexis, moi sorti New York. Chaque jeudi, chaque vendredi à 8h, 9h, moi branché Connexion Plus. Connexion Plus, c'est moi-même, c'est vous-même, c'est lui-même, c'est nous tous.
Ou même qui c'est ouvrier CEA ou qui aspire à faire ministère dans l'église locale, moi gen bon jan nouvelle pour. MISED, Mathetes Institute School of Evangelism and Discipleship, a offrir une série de diplômes spécialisés dans discipline takou, leadership l'église, éducation chrétienne, évangélisation, apologétique chrétienne, interpréter la Bible, counseling familial, présentation études bibliques, Ancien ak Nouveau Testament, nan souci pour bien équiper ouvrier cap fait ministère ou qui vle faire ministère l'église ak yon dynamique sans pareil. Nan MISED, nous fait l'école yon l'autre gens et nous croyons tout le monde ka apprendre et tout le monde doit bien apprendre pour faire ministère saint avancer. N'a invité tout chrétien haïtien tout côté sous la terre. Vin étudier Bibla dans bon timamite ak yon équipe professeur qui non seulement gagne maîtrise pour pipiti, mais qui chargé ak expérience dans affaires enseignement. C'est un programme hybride qu'a fait en direct une fois par semaine sur une plateforme tant que Zoom, Team, Google Meet et puis tout chaque étudiant a bien un tableau de bord pour le bambiler et faire devoir quiz ak examen. C'est là tout, y a bien accès à tout document et ressources pour tout couyo. En plus, document principal chaque grain coup. Kounuyo a fait en créole ak en français et très bientôt en anglais pendant 12 grains mois seulement. Qui pi bel cadeau qu'a offri tout ak ministère bon Dieu que préparé pour servir royaume Christ là ak excellence et ak passion. Pour inscrire au MISED et joindre plus de détails ak information, seulement taper mathetesinstitute.com. Youn di lot, MISED, une école pour étudier la Bible avec excellence et passion. Nouvelle session.
Moi, c'est Jean-Enoch Bruni, pasteur de la première église de Dieu de West Palm Beach, First Haitian Church of God of West Palm Beach. Lem la kay moi chaque jeudi et chaque vendredi, commencer 8h pour 9h dans la soirée, c'est Connexion Plus, moi branché. Moi, recommandé fortement pour capable brancher tout Connexion Plus avec pasteur Benjamin chaque jeudi et chaque vendredi, sorti 8h pour arriver 9h. Que bon Dieu bénisse.
Sou pare en ale, yon nan pi gros cadeau yon moun ka bay tête li c'est l'el prend service nan yon professionnel là. Dans ce sens ça, si ou nan Florida ou bien dans quel que soit l'autre état yo, m'a préféré un Stallone Anilis qui nan tête Stallone Multi-Services qui gen plus passé 10 l'année depuis la bay communauté à service avec un pile courtoisie. Quel que soit service ou besoin dans affaires immigration tant que résidence, TPS, asile, citizenship, carte travail la trier, c'est sans problème. Ou besoin de traduire un document dans quel que soit langue non, notarié en papier, appliqué pour food stamp avec un pile l'autre service encore, relais Stallone dans 561 971 95 79. Stallone Multi-Services en Chita dans deux adresses 5700 Lequay Road, suite 310-3, Green Acres, Florida 33463. Deuxième location c'est dans 500 South Australian Avenue, suite 524 West Palm Beach, Florida 33401 dans Downtown West Palm Beach. Relais pour un rendez-vous dans 561 971 95 79 ou bien visitez website business plan pour plus d'informations sur www.tallonemservices.com.
Moi-même Césaire, depuis jeudi, vendredi 8 arrivé, je vais faire l'autre bagaille que garder Connexion Plus. C'est chita pour me garder Pasteur Benjamin. Connexion Plus.
Êtes-vous un propriétaire d'entreprise qui fait partie de notre communauté haïtienne dynamique en Floride et dans les Caraïbes? Si tel est le cas, vous avez probablement remarqué à quel point la vidéo devient importante en matière de marketing, de vente et de capture de souvenirs. En fait, l'utilisation de la vidéo est récemment devenue une attente des clients dans le monde entier. Et que vous le sachiez ou non, vous avez une histoire inspirante mais non contée. Votre point de vue unique sur le travail, la vie et tout le reste. Mais avec tout le monde qui crée du contenu en ligne maintenant, il est presque impossible de se démarquer. C'est pourquoi vous avez besoin de Lens Magic de Cajou TV, des services de production vidéo auxquels vous pouvez faire confiance. Des courts et longs films, des émissions de télévision aux événements en direct, au contenu des médias sociaux, aux occasions spéciales, quels que soient vos besoins vidéo, aucun projet n'est trop grand ou petit. Lens Magic utilise uniquement les dernières technologies et équipements pour ravir nos clients à chaque fois. Notre excellente réputation au sein de la communauté est basée sur d'innombrables projets réussis, réalisés au cours des 20 dernières années dans toute la Floride, Haïti et les Caraïbes. Et en plus, nos forfaits flexibles garantissent aux clients la meilleure qualité à des prix abordables. Alors qu'est-ce que vous attendez? Visitez kajoutv.tv et découvrez comment vous pouvez utiliser la vidéo pour mieux raconter vos histoires.
Non, moi, c'est Nicole Alexis. Moi, sorti New York. Chaque jeudi, chaque vendredi à 8h, 9h, moi branché Connexion Plus. Connexion Plus, c'est moi-même, c'est vous-même, c'est lui-même, c'est nous tous.
Ou même qui c'est ouvrier CEA ou qui aspire à faire ministère dans l'église locale, moi j'ai bon genre.
Bonsoir, nous sommes de retour dans ce Connexion Plus. Nous avons avec nous ce soir Miss DEBRA TENDRICH. She is running for House Representative dans le district 89. Il y a même qui dans l'Equif, Green Acres, Lentana. Pas oublier à le voter, faire un croix en bas dans le 89 là. Pendant que Miss TENDRICH l'a aidé mes petites dans l'école publique ensemble avec eux. Les mes petites parlent dans l'école publique pour comprendre besoin monde qui dans la même situation ça. Ils étaient capés en l'école pour petite mais ils font choix pour connaître bien besoin de la communauté ça. Un gros bravo pour Miss DEBRA. So, nous continuons à parler de l'importance leader communauté au gagné parce que c'est eux-mêmes qui de façon immédiate dans fédéral, dans state level, dans fédéral level. Donc c'est eux-mêmes qui vous yeux nous, même qui bouche nous. Nous encourager un monde qui a un cœur, qui est engagé déjà dans la communauté, c'est monde ça pour voter. Et c'est la raison pourquoi Connexion Plus, we endorse Miss DEBRA. Et we endorse Miss DEBRA because she is doing a very good job. She is caring. She is very had a great heart to help people. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you for being here.
Merci.
We like that. We like that. What specific plans do you have to support economic growth and job creation in the district?
Sure. I mean, that's a big deal right now. One is a lot of the small businesses are just struggling right now. They're trying to compete with these rising costs, but also they can't afford to insure their staff. So they're losing good talent to large corporations to provide insurance. Also, at the same token, these individuals who are, it's hard for them to actually build credit. So creating more microloan and micro programs to help them establish credit is going to be very, very important for me. Helping the bidding process for contracts will to make it more fair for smaller contractors and smaller businesses to compete fairly is extremely important to me. Another thing is, when you're looking at some regulatory burdens that are unnecessary, kind of reevaluating those to make small businesses be able to actually access opportunities better. And, when you're looking at the economic opportunity with healthcare, Medicaid expansion is going to be a big deal, right? Because we actually need a healthier, more productive community. So if we can ensure 1 million Floridians, get them healthy again, get them access to primary care physicians and preventive treatment. Preventive treatment is a lot cheaper than prevention is a lot cheaper than treatment. So if we can actually help set people up for success, we'll have a stronger workforce. Not only that, but also building up our workforce, right? A lot of times we don't have enough people to do the work. So really like I was saying, the apprenticeship programs that where you can earn while you learn are really, really important when you're looking at someone who has to work but also wants to make a living wage, and they can actually earn a certification while they're working and earning money for their family. So creating more opportunities and pathways to living wages, not just living wage, job opportunities with living wages, and also supporting our small businesses are extremely important for me. I mean, there's a lot more, but those seem to be the core issues that when I'm talking to small businesses, seem to be the biggest hurdles that they have, especially with the insurance costs and, just their property insurance. My nonprofit, our auto insurance, our property insurance, our electric bill, every bill we have also went up. And so they're the small businesses who are huge employers for the entire state of Florida. What goes first? They cut staff hours. They don't give cost of living wage increases because their finances are being strangled because of the economy too, and the opportunities. So really just more opportunity for growth and support for those small businesses, and really creating more opportunities for people to get a living wage to the workforce.
Très bien. Comme on connaît déjà, nous mettons en pile en phase sur small business, sur petit business, dans la communauté, ça nous gagne en pile businessmen ou men qui passent dans le channel ça, qui parlent en pile là, de business. Mais cependant, Miss DEBRA mettait en pile en phase sur croissance économique, petit business ça yo, parce qu'il y a qu'on a gourmet, n'a struggle. Donc, il dit que aussitôt que l'elfine Eli vient comme congresswoman, et bien il va camper pour moi ensemble avec vous pour défendre nous, pour nous plus possibilités capable camper parce que toute bagaille monter dans le pays. Moun qui était lumière, qui était de l'eau, qui était toute bagaille monter. Même qui travaille dans organisation non profit yo monter. So mais ça pas monter, c'est comme il va monter. De paiement de wage, il va monter. So c'est une non il parle défendre ça pour aider n'est-ce pas grandir small business pour un moyen économique qui pour parler dans gourmet avec pour payer bilou parce que c'est humain qui va le voter, tout le bill passe par eux même. Le président a une bonne idée, mais si le Congrès n'a pas voté, il va passer. Et ça a besoin de mettre de bonnes personnes, de vraies personnes, de droites personnes à de droites places et pour présenter ou pour défendre.
And I do have a question for you. Have you ever talked to someone who had a great business idea and they said, oh, I'll start it when I, after I get my pension because I can't lose my health insurance?
I haven't heard that in particular. That's very specific. I haven't heard that in particular, but I know my dad for a while, he didn't want to, now he started, he has his landscaping company. But I know for a while he didn't want to start it because of the fear of losing work or missing out on his regular job to, support or work the business. So
I know I've talked to a lot of people and they wait on starting their own business because they're afraid of losing their health insurance, because health insurance is so costly, and if they're insuring their kids and their whole family, I've talked to many people that said, I can't, or they'll start maybe doing only a small amount when they could really be super successful on their own and create their own financial independence. But they end up being trapped with these large corporations because they're just afraid of being uninsured.
Well, pour ça, et santé aux États-Unis, c'est un luxe que lié. Donc, pas tout le monde a accès à soins de santé, c'est pas un bon job. Il y a une possibilité de faire ouvrir pour business par eux, mais malheureusement, le fait que yo gagne un gros tonton compagnie a travaillé pour eux, qui a un bon coverage, yo peut quitter compagnie ça à cause d'assurance pour ouvrir propre une compagnie par eux. Mais dans un grand pays comme les États-Unis, nous avons besoin n'est-ce pas de pour camper, pour défendre ça, côté que soins santé doit accessible à tout le monde. Que ce soit niveau économique, mon pour avoir accès à santé. Healthcare is a lux in America. No one can have access to the healthcare.
Sure.
You have money. Now, we need people to represent you, to stand for, to defend you. To say to the congressmen, we need to pass these bills. Give the people a break. Buy un petit break, mes amis. Que tu respires un petit peu. Tu vas gagner une assurance. Il faut que tu camper pour dire ça pour Miss DEBRA. C'est une derrière.
Merci.
You understand? You don't.
Petit. Yeah.
I think we've touched on education. We have touched on healthcare. We're a little pressed for time, so I do want to get into this question here. It's in regards to the environment. So we all know what's going on as far as climate change. Some people don't want to address it, but we just had a hurricane.
Well, they can just remove it from the whole state of Florida, like our governor.
It's very real. It is something that we are dealing with, the scientists there, and we can all see it for ourselves. The environment here in Florida, it's always a concern, especially for us as Floridians and homeowners. We're new homeowners now, and we're afraid of hurricanes. What measures do you plan to take to ensure environmental stability and to address climate issues?
Yeah, so the truth of the matter is that our natural resources are what drives people to Florida, but then once we're here, we abuse them.
Yeah.
So we really need to make sure that we're taking the steps to keep them as precious as they are. I know that there's a lot of regulations that we can put in place that will make sure that my daughter and her kids and your kids, do you have any children?
I do.
You do?
Two.
So your children will be able to enjoy the same resources that we have.
Yeah.
And look at this hurricane that just happened. Do you know how many people
Devastated.
are without homes and how long it's going to take to rebuild? If I'm thinking about when I'm knocking on doors, almost every other door that I talk to, they couldn't afford their house and their insurance and they're uninsured. So I'm also looking at, if we do have a natural disaster here in Palm Beach County, how are we going to rebuild, right? We're going to need to make sure that, and most of them are seniors, they're not going to be able to really rebuild their own homes if something like that happens. We have to take this issue extremely seriously. We have to make sure that those homes are protected, that we have the funds to rebuild them, that we're going to be able to protect them, that we have the clean air and the clean water for decades and years and centuries to come. I mean, we need to leave this place better than we found it. And it's our responsibility. So, you know, working with organizations like the Sierra Club, with the DCEF, which is the Environmental Caucus of Florida, which I was endorsed by, you know, working with the leaders in the environment to create policy, you know, that would actually take long-term proactive measures to do that. Also fight against anybody trying to tear into our public parks and public green spaces. You know, that is something that needs to be protected by all costs. We need to protect the land we have. And so every time something is put into play that they might end up tearing away or taking away from our natural resources, I'm going to be on the front line stopping it. I'm going to use my platform and my voice, and I'm going to get my voice amplified. I'm going to invite all three of you at this table to come with me, and we're going to make sure that we stop those things from happening, because the more we chip away, the less we have in the future. And it's not like, you know, once you put concrete down, trees don't just magically pop up from the concrete. We've destroyed our natural resource. And so you can't go back. It's kind of like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube once you take it out.
Absolument. Il n'y a plus gros problème que nous avons simplement environnement. Et nous tous affectés de l'environnement. Nous en avons dans Florida, nous avons caille, ou toujours bien qu'on ait sauté lorsqu'un cyclone passé pour qu'on pas craser. Et si qu'on a endommagé ou bien crasé, on va prendre un paquet de temps et assurance mais un paquet de barrières qu'on y a, pas accès pour reconstruire ça ou bien là pour un paquet de temps. Et tandis qu'on paye chaque mois. Et c'est pour raison ça, nous avons besoin de voir un monde représenter nous dans le congrès pour défendre ça pour nous. Parce que les gens qui sont dans le soleil là, qu'on doit les gens dans le soleil pareil. Mais ou même qui pas dans le soleil là, on a de l'eau, on est tout bagaille facile. Moun li me la frappé porte dans l'élection, les moun grand monde qui vivent dans l'état, on pas dire infra-humain, mais aussi qui parle un état normal comme dans un grand pays. Mais moi ensemble avec qui gagne dans pays ça, il y a nous besoin n'est-ce pas voter pour un monde qui parle défendre nous pour aider réduire cost, prix assurance caillou, réduire prix taxe, réduire prix et machine yo trop bagaille trop cher mes amis. En moins.
So I know a lot of our viewers at home, they're probably wondering who this young lady is over here. So I'm gonna put her on the spot just for a little bit. Miss Lewis is one of our very own. She's from Palm Beach County. She's Haitian, so she's part of that community as well. And the reason why I'm putting her on the spot right now is because she has a lot of accomplishments herself. At the age of 22, she's working on her doctorates. I think I got my doctorates at, what was I, 27? So she's doing this at 22. And the reason why I want her to get involved right now is because this directly pertains to the youth. And right now we're in the election season, and sometimes it's really hard to get the youth to get out and vote. For instance, when Obama was, he was going to make history. Well, he made history. I had an opportunity to vote for Obama. I didn't. Why I didn't vote for Obama? I don't know. I can't tell you to this day. So it's really hard to get the youth involved. And my next question is, I'm going to let you two tag teams. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but you do get to talk about your role and your involvement in the campaign. So how do you plan to engage with young voters and encourage their participation in this political process?
Me first?
I'm going to let you go
All
first.
right.
You get to throw her in there a little bit.
So this is actually, there's a few things that are involved. One, I'm not super old, so I actually can relate a little bit more to, those who are in high school or college. I feel like once you get a little bit older, sometimes that age gap will, not really get them excited to talk to you or make it seem like it's attainable for someone their age. When I talk to high school and college students, I'm always telling them that I want one of them to run one day. I want one of them to be a leader. I see the leadership in them, and that's why I'm here, you know, because, so really engaging with the youth clubs, the teen clubs in the high schools, with the colleges, making sure that we show up and let them know, like, this election is going to affect everything about your life, and it's probably one of the most important elections yet. And I think that what I found is that politicians, people who are running for office, kind of feel that the college students don't vote, so they don't show up. And when you don't show up, you don't get the vote. And if you can create that, I think one of the other things I'm doing too is encouraging parents to create habits of bringing their kids with them when they vote, to make it a priority, make it something that is important as a family outing. You know, go take your kids with you to vote, then go and grab dinner, go see a movie, but make it an actual event so your kids can see you doing it like faithfully every year, every election. Because ultimately what happens is, if we let someone run for office for a city commission seat, and then they win because we didn't vote and we knew they were no good, then they win, then guess what? They go run for state, and guess what? They win because we didn't vote, and then
That's true.
and then they go up the ladder, and eventually they're going to be in these higher powers when we knew from the beginning they shouldn't be there. And we have to take focus on that, and that's why we engaging them at a very young age, hopefully it influences them to understand why, where, when, and how, and you're next. You have to run, you have to be involved, take responsibility of your backyard. It's your future. And so really it's just showing up on the high schools and the colleges, the community events. I'll give you an example. In October last year for Halloween, I participated in the trunk or treats with the kids. So I would go, my DEBRA for House signs would be in the trunk, and I don't give out candy because I think you shouldn't give out candy. So I gave out like glow sticks and little Harry Potter glasses and things like that to the kids. So when I saw, you know, someone in fourth grade, I would say, oh, what branch of government is the State House of Representatives? And the parents are there too. So I'm also engaging with the parents while teaching, because the parents usually don't know. So the kids are like, judicial? I'm like, no. You know, I'm like, we're legislative, right? Because we're making laws and this and that, and we do this. So it actually, from a young age, just encouraging them to meet, to say, oh, I met the future state rep, or, but not only that, once I'm elected, I'm going to go read in preschools. I'm going to go to high school graduations. I'm going to, you know, go where the students are so they can see that this is something attainable. And I think that that's where the disconnect comes in, because when you have people who don't show up, you don't inspire. And so Michaela, I met her, what year was it?
Was it 2020?
2020, 21. So she actually was the president of the FAU Community Service Club, and she would create volunteer days at my nonprofit. And so I saw her leadership from the day I met her. And so when she found that I was running, she wanted to get involved, and I said, absolutely, she's a star, you know? And if I said no, I'd be crazy.
How is Michaela assisting you in your campaign now?
So she's actually an intern. She is in charge of actually two big jobs. She's our college outreach and our Haitian outreach. You know, the goal I have is to make sure that everyone knows that they have a seat at the table with me. I think that's really important. A lot of people feel excluded in the process. So I'm doing my very best to make sure there's no language barriers. There's no gaps in me showing up or doing outreach, to make sure I at least ask you, do you want to be involved? Do you want to tell me what you want me to work on? Do you want to tell me what's important to you? Do you want to know anything about me? And if I miss that step, I've already started off wrong.
Michaela, how is this experience? How has it changed you? How is it excuse me? How is it giving you just confidence to step into that future?
I think in general, it's been a really great experience. DEBRA has really I guess, forced me to get out of my comfort zone. And I've learned a lot of skills too for someone who would want to run in the future. And I've met people who I would have never met if it wasn't for DEBRA, and I've experienced things like this if it wasn't for DEBRA. So it's a great experience overall, and she's a great mentor, honestly. She's one of my inspirations, so awesome. I want to be just like her. Yeah.
Well, Miss DEBRA, c'est un monde qui a opportunité à tout le monde. Et en 2021, tu as rencontré Miss Michaela. Miss Michaela Louis, n'est-ce pas? Et Miss Michaela joue un gros rôle dans FAO. Et c'est président d'un community service dans FAO. Et c'est président. Ça veut dire que il a un leadership qui est extraordinaire. Qu'est-ce qu'il a gagné? 22 ans. Alors, Miss DEBRA, ouais, dans Michaela, il y a un futur leader. Il y a un monde qui est capable pour next, pour l'autre prochaine étape, et bien, il embrasser, il encadrer, et c'est bon ça que nous avons besoin. Il pas juste barrer, mais l'ouvrir bras by Michaela, il embrasser, il ouvrir porte pour lui, et aujourd'hui, il est ensemble avec Miss DEBRA. Qui sait, il pas next, nous va voter après Miss DEBRA aller dans un niveau qui est plus haut. Et c'est qu'on a besoin de faire grandir la communauté, ou même qui jeunes garçons, jeunes filles, qui n'ont pas aucun futur, qui va gagner, n'est-ce pas, un rêve pour demain. Michaela Louis, une jeune haïtienne, 22 ans, qui travaille sur doctoral. Dans quel niveau est dans l'Aïssa? Well, il est trop tard. Non, il va jamais trop tard. Il va gagner un niveau, mais qu'il a 22 ans pour un doctorat, mais pour continuer à l'école. À moins si na school continue à finir à school. I'm sorry, moins si bien associé, OK, continue à faire associé là. Le problème pas jamais give up, pas jamais abandonner. Donc moi encourage chaque jeune garçon, chaque jeune fille qui fait aux États-Unis, qui grandit aux États-Unis, qui parle anglais pays, qui langue pays, qui à l'école pays ou qui n'importe bagarre dans pays. Mais faut pas un paresseux, faut lever, faut éduquer, faut mettre bête sous. Mais j'ai admis qu'il est là. Quand venir quelqu'un de Dieu. Il dit que Miss DEBRA, c'est un bon mentor pour lui. C'est mon ça qu'on a besoin pour pas mettre au monde qui est négatif. Le monde qui est positif, qui est futur pour vous, et futur pour madame ou petit. Miss DEBRA, congratulations. Congratulations, Miss Michaela.
And just seeing Michaela here, it kind of highlights and it just shows, it corroborates a lot of what you were talking about, just being involved with the youth and just being able to be that mentor and being able to pass the torch and be involved in our community. I think being involved with the youth, that's you setting up our the longevity in our community for us to be great, for us to continue to have this kind of representation in our community. So I commend you for it, and I think it also speaks true to what you were saying earlier, as far as not being able to outfeed hunger or just throw money at poverty, but education can get you across those hurdles. And you having her here, you encouraging her to go out and do everything as far as with her education and just to be all that she can be, using an Army term. It's important for them to see, and it's important for the viewers to know that Michaela had no idea she was going to be on camera today. And, you kind of say, hey, I want you to be on camera. I want you to experience this and have this kind of exposure. It just shows that you're taking her by the hand and you're making sure that she is exposed to this, that she is getting this kind of experience, and it holds true to everything that we just talked about. So it's organic. She's the real deal. I just want to point that out.
Merci.
How do you plan to work across party lines to ensure that progress is made on key issues?
Sure. I think right now, obviously, no name calling. You know, right now you see people who are just attacking the person, not the policy a lot. And I think if I can just focus on the issues, I also, like I said, you know, I actually have bipartisan support. I am a Democrat, but I have Republicans who are supporting me. I have independents that are supporting me. And being able to have a lot of these relationships prior to me running, you know, when you have established a lot of these relationships in a non-political way, you're able to communicate differently. And when I talk to people about what these issues are, where I care about them, I'm talking with real life experiences with the families that I see every single day. I'm not pulling any of these stunts to try to just prove a point. I'm actually ultimately trying to do what's in the best interest of the community. And I think people will recognize that I'm gonna respect everyone's opinion, but I'm not gonna waver on where I stand on issues, especially when my district and other people in the state of Florida are going to be experiencing the same thing. But moreover, when I'm in this situation where, let's say, I feel like I'm stuck at a wall, right, where I know this isn't going to pass alone with me just talking to people across party lines, that's when bringing people in from the community to get behind this and help me help them. I mean, like, I'm not looking to just win. I'm looking for a partnership with the community to do what the community actually needs. If they, like, and I tell people, let's say there's 90,000 voters in my district. I cannot pick up the phone and call 90,000 people. I need people to also reach out to me and tell me what they need, because I think there's a little disconnect. Well, my state rep never called me. Right. We can't always call you. Yeah. But what I can do is show up when you need me to. We can create town halls. We can stay in the community. You know, like if you have a church, bring me in. Let me give you a legislative update. And then at that legislative update, tell me what's going on. Take my email, take my phone number, call me and tell me what you're seeing. Because when I'm in Tallahassee 4 months of the year, I'm not here. And when I'm not here, I can't see what's happening driving down the street or going to the school, right? So during those months, I also need the community to reach out to me and say, Deborah, this is happening right now. This is affecting us. Our neighbors are going through this. And, you know, just making sure that we have those relationships. And relationships really are what are going to make things happen. And so I think being honest, transparent, I'm not going to give people whiplash. Like, so, you know, well, they'll say yes and then they'll change it all of a sudden to no. You know, I'm going to be completely open and give reasons as to why I vote on certain things. And it's not going to be like a surprise attack, right? I think that just legislating with respect, that's for the best interest of people. Ultimately, I think that's where the trust comes in. And, you know, I see a lot of people too, because when you see people like in Tallahassee, if you ever go and you watch how the House sessions are taking place, you'll see a lot of them will say very good points that are valid. But the way that they approach it is more about trying to prove a point. Yeah. And I think if you take that pride out of that presentation and just really focus on, you know, like, this is really what needs to happen. I need to tell you why. But also having those relationships where you talk to people in advance and you just know, like, Deborah's not going to just say something just to say it. Yeah. Deborah means it. She knows what she's talking about. She knows the community, and she's representing her district fully. And every district is different. I mean, think about it. District 89 is diverse. You know, we have such a big melting pot of community. But then you go to Miami, or then you go to Micanopy, or you go to Tallahassee, or you go to Jacksonville, or you go to Sebring. Every community has different needs. I have to be responsible for my district, but also understand the needs of the whole state. So if I also don't talk to the representative in this area over here, in Ocala, right? I also have to be mindful that when I speak, I'm also speaking for Ocala. I'm also speaking, you know, for every other city and municipality and person and across the entire state of Florida. And so I don't think that everyone is always thinking about the bigger picture, about how my city might need different things done than your city.
Well said.
Thank you.
The key word for tonight is les veulent créer un partnership. Une relation avec la communauté. Il n'y a pas besoin pour voter. Moi, j'aime ça.
Yeah.
En plus de fois, nous votons les gens, nous ne pas voir encore. Mais il me dit, je veux créer une relation avec les gens qui sont dans la communauté. Mais il dit que si on ne peut pas dans l'état là, si on ne peut pas passer dans la communauté, c'est moi-même ensemble avec vous qui vous fait connaître ça. Alors, nous avons besoin, n'est-ce pas, qu'on ait un numéro Miss DEBRA, qu'on ait comment nous avons joindre. Et après, je dis, parce que ben, comme on a joindre Miss DEBRA, ma bonne numéro de relais le coup, il a pris le téléphone. Il a dit, mais tel qu'a passé, il a adressé le problème. Sinon, l'autre district, il y a 434, quoi, qui est dans le congrès, en tout, 434 in total.
Oh no, that's no house. That's I'm looking at state.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mais si vous pas dans le district 89 là, ou dans l'autre district, mais la journée a maintenant, l'autre district a dit, hey, mais un problème là, adressé. Ils travaillent comme si on main en main. Mais non, mais c'est ça une relation communautaire. Nous devons voter au monde comme ça. Vous avez tout vote Miss DEBRA qui pour présenter encore une fois dans le 89 là. Alors, si dans l'Intana ou dans l'équipe dans Greenacres, pas oublier voter dans le 89 là. C'est parce qu'il y a un bon monde qui présente.
I know we're a little short on time, are we?
We're supposed to stop at 9.
What time? Oh yeah.
I'm gonna. The last thing is.
You see, 5 minutes.
The last thing is to just give some shout outs. Shout outs to people who are role models to you, people who endorse you, family, friends, just anyone you can think of that kind of helped you along the way and got you to where you are right now. I always think it's important to shout out those people to let them know that everything they did is not lost, you know, and you're thinking about them and what they did for you is important. So any shout outs?
Yeah, well, one, I have to shout out my daughter. She's 15. She actually gave me permission to run for office.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Had to ask her for permission. My mom, you know, she's been a real big support for me during this too. You know, trying to work full-time as the nonprofit and then working full-time on the campaign and then being a full-time single mother. You know, it's a lot. So my mom has really stepped up to help me sometimes pick up my daughter from school for me or things like that, which, you know, I need in order for me to take care of everything I need to do. So I really want to say thank you to my mom and my daughter for being supportive, my family and friends, obviously. But yeah, you know, also the community has really kind of like joined forces to be a big backbone and support. I say that I can win off of the strength of the community, not necessarily the strength of the wallet. Yeah. You know, because people I think are tired of that, right? Yeah. I think they're tired of money being the reason people run or the reason they lose. And you know, the volunteerism from the community, the sharing on social media, the putting up a sign in their yard, all these things, they don't cost the community anything, just time. Yeah. And, you know, investing time into your race. So I do want to also say that aside thanking the community, we do have a lot of groups that actually took me serious enough and said, Deborah, you are the right choice. You know, in the newspaper today, the Palm Beach Post, they endorsed me. I have the police and fire. I have the teachers. I have the nurses and doctors. I have the veterans, the human rights and women's rights organizations. Like yeah, I have everyone from Congress down to the local school board members. I mean, the community is just ready for someone to say, like, thank you for showing up. Thank you for giving a different perspective. And, you know, just like we need and support and recognize the diversity on the ground, we also need to do that, you know, with our representation, right? And I think that people know that I'm going to make sure that every group of people is supported, heard, recognized, and a part of the conversation. I think the biggest role that a state representative or any leader has is to not do anything to you, but with you, right? I can't tell you what your community needs. I can ask you and we can work on it together. I can't pretend to be an expert in everything. I don't want to go in and tell you about your business. I want you to tell me what you're going through, and we can see what's really working and protect it, and then what's failing and fix it. And I think that that's what we need. We need to listen more. And I don't think most of the reps that I've talked to, or a lot of not most, let me just change that. Some of the folks that I've talked to that are in leadership roles, they know more than you about every single subject, and that's impossible. So I truly believe that that's something else that I'm really, really caring about, is that I don't want to do anything to you but with you.
Well, District 89, choice is clear. If I was in that district, I'd know who I'm voting for. So we do want to thank you for coming on the show. Michaela, we want to thank you as well for coming on the show and just sharing with us all your plans, all your thoughts, and just based on everything that we talked about today, I'd tell the voters that the evidence is there, the proof is there, and it's clear. It's clear who to vote. It's clear who your vote should go to in District 89. It's clear who's put in the work. It's clear who's involved in the community and who cares about the community. Someone who lives in the community, someone who's involved. Her daughter is in public school, so of course she's invested in our public schools. So just think about that when you go out to vote. And I'm gonna let
Can I just one more thing?
Sure.
Okay, on Sunday, at Pastor Calvert has a big church on military. We're putting on a leadership conference in Town Hall for the Haitian community. We want to fill the room up and make sure that one, the Haitian community can see who's running. Right, we're gonna have. I'll be there. We'll have Joe Cassell is our current state rep running for re-election. We have our current state rep, Catherine Waldron, who's also running for re-election. Alexia Cox, she'll be there. Mac Bernard will be there. Debbie McCarcel Powell will have her team there. So, I mean, we're going to have a good group of people, but the reason why this is so important is we're not just talking to the community. This is also a time for the community to tell us before the election, before we're drinking from a fire hose, once we're elected and everything's coming at us, this is the time to show up and tell us what you want us to focus on and what is important to you, and also for you to hear who we are and give you a chance to get to know us a little bit before. It's like, I think if we wait for that relationship to after we're elected, the chances of you reaching out when you need something are a lot lower. And we want to elevate that opportunity for you to be involved and be a part of, feel comfortable enough to reach out to us, that we're trying to make this focus to a community that has told me that they've felt left out of a lot of the conversations. And I'm completely trying to change that narrative. And so, you know, anybody is open, it's welcome, it's free. It's just really Dr. Mark Lafayette, the IPA, which is the International Pastors Association, and several other groups are becoming a part of this. But it's from 1 to 4. The first part of the event, we're teaching about the ballot. What's on the ballot? Dr. Mark Lafayette is really going to be leading that. Then you're going to hear from the candidates, and then you're going to be able to tell us what you need and ask us questions.
1 to 4, give us that address.
I can give it to you. Let me pull it up.
You guys that address.
For those who know.
It's 1650 North Military Trail.
1650 North Military Trail.
In West Palm Beach, and I can send you both the invitation.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll be there.
Thank you, and bring people.
Absolutely.
Oh, and Joel Flores will be there too.
Thank you so much, Miss DEBRA, for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Michaela. Hey, thank you, Mr. Vlad. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
I want to thank you, my brother's technician, l'ingénieur Bobby Joliver. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to my brother Samuel Ulyss. Thank you so much. Thank you to you who are watching. Thank you for your time. So once again, we encourage you to go to vote number 89, November 5th. Do not miss that opportunity. You can vote earlier vote. Go to the early voting. That will be great. You will miss the line, okay? We skip the line. However, what does a member of Congress do? What does a member of Congress do? All right, good question. Simple. A member of Congress represents the people of the district in the United States of Congress by holding hearings as well as developing and voting on legislation. That's all. That's the job. They represent you first in the district. They defend the district. They represent you at the level of the state level, and they represent you as well at the federal level. And all bills must pass by Congress before they can go to the president to be signed into law. So this is important, to vote someone that you trust, someone that cares, someone that respects you. This is why we encourage you strongly to vote for Miss DEBRA TENDRICH on November 5th. Et ce qu'on va faire avant ça, faire-le, aller dans early voting ou aller faire ça parce que vous avez gagné un bon représentant. Et si tu as besoin encore, pas de téléphone. Je dis Miss DEBRA, you have besoin. If you want me to see Miss DEBRA, after a while, you just call me. I will call her, Miss DEBRA, we need you here. And she will be coming.
Absolutely.
Once again, thank you for watching. Message tout regardé, bon rendez-vous demain soir. Même plateforme nan, Connexion Plus. Bonsoir. Merci pour être ensemble avec nous. Bonne soirée.
Non, moi, c'est Nicole Alexis. Moi, sorti New York. Chaque jeudi, chaque vendredi à 8h, 9h, moi branché Connexion Plus. Connexion Plus, c'est moi-même, c'est vous-même, c'est lui-même, c'est nous tous.
Ou même qui c'est ouvrier CEA ou qui aspire à faire ministère dans l'église locale, moi gen bon jan nouvelle pour. MISED, Mathetes Institute School of Evangelism and Discipleship, ap offrir yon série diplôme spécialisé dans discipline tankou, leadership l'église, éducation chrétienne, évangélisation, apologétique chrétienne, interpréter la Bible, counseling familial, présentation études bibliques, Ancien ak Nouveau Testament, nan souci pour bien équiper ouvrier cap fait ministère ou qui vle faire ministère l'église ak yon dynamique sans pareil. Nan MISED, nous fait l'école yon l'autre gens et nous croyons tout le monde ka apprendre et tout le monde doit bien apprendre pour faire ministère saint avancer. N'a invité tout chrétien haïtien tout côté sous la terre. Vin étudier Bibla dans bon timamite ak yon équipe professeur qui non seulement gagne maîtrise pour pipiti, mais qui chargé ak expérience dans affaires enseignement. C'est un programme hybride qu'a fait en direct yon fois par semaine sur une plateforme tant que Zoom, Team, Google Meet, et puis tout chaque étudiant a bien un tableau de bord pour le bambiler et faire devoir quiz ak examen. C'est là tout, y a bien accès à tout document et ressources pour tout couyo. En plus, document principal chaque grain coup. Kounuyo a fait en créole ak en français et très bientôt en anglais pendant 12 grains mois seulement. Qui pi bel cadeau qu'a offert